it's still an extraordinary. I've watched shows again, and Buffy just, I don't know, it was a real game changer. I was so proud to have been in it. Like I'm proud to have been in this. I don't know. I've been really an actor. Every now and again can say, "Wow, I was in that show." I've been in quite a few that you just go, "Wow, that was a complete, a new way of looking at things." And Ted Lasso, it's amazing.
Yeah, well, that's the goal, is just to reach that point where you look back at the work you've created and say, shit, yeah, I'm pretty happy,
Yeah.
So good for you. Let's go back a little bit earlier though. I want to jump in. I'm curious. I looked at your filmography. I was like, all these things I've seen you in, and so many I haven't. It's so extensive. What was it that initially drew you into acting? Was it a family thing, or?
Well, my mother was an actress, so it was there, and my brother and I sort of were on set a few times, just like our daughters have been on set a few times, and they're both actors, and they're remarkable too. But also, I happened to be at a school, it was called Sunbury Grammar School, which had a real focus on acting, on plays and on all sorts of things. And so I got the opportunity to play around with it, and sort of I became quite sort of not powerful, but I made the most of it. And so I went to drama school, didn't get in the first time, and I have to say, not a surprise, I nearly did. And I had a special session with the guy that ran the school, and he asked me to just try a few other things. And I'd rehearsed my audition with my father to the point where it was rigid and set, and I couldn't do anything else. And that, for me, is now, that's why I love in a scene just trying anything, just see what comes in. And especially with someone like Jason in your ear saying, try that, try that. And you go, right, yep. And it's, I love it. But then I also did, I went to acting class in LA with a teacher called Milton Gonzalez. And his whole thing was about creating a person. It's about finding the core of the character. It's not about playing the character. It's about who is the character and what's their life, what makes them happy, what makes them sad, and always being prepared to, if there's, there was one, I can't remember what it was, but there was a scene somebody did absolutely on his teaching, and you thought it was going to go one way, and they played completely the opposite. He said, if you're having a row with someone about a love affair, go for a kiss. And it takes everyone by surprise. So that sort of, it finally built into what I love in acting, is just finding someone and making them real.
That's great. And you do that with Rupert and Ted Lasso. I was wondering, so what led to you getting this role? Was Rupert always in the cards? Did Jason approach you? How did that all come about?
I was approached with an offer. And my agent sent me, my English agent sent me the basis of the show, and I thought, it's based on a sketch from Saturday Night Live, and it's about an American football coach being brought over to destroy an English football team. Oh, well, I'll read the script. And then I read the script and went, yeah. And I only read one. I didn't even see the journey that it was going to go on, but it was just so beautifully written. And so there were so many nuances and little fine kind of, and the fun of playing, even that first, the charity ball, with Rebecca, and just basically just going nah at her. It was great stuff.
It's amazing. Like you mentioned that, and several other actors I've spoken with who worked on the series said the same thing. They read the script and they're like, "Okay, I'm on." And I think that's the reaction that the viewers had, because you go in, you go, "All right, this is going to be a soccer, football story. We know all the beats," and then it delivers something so much bigger and so much, it truly connected with, obviously, with the global audience.
Absolutely, and also Jason explained about halfway, maybe sort of 3/4 of the way through the first season, that it was a commission for 3 seasons, and that in his desire was to tell the tale literally from the beginning through the second season into the third. Whereas normally, I mean, Buffy was amazing, and it was 22 episodes a season. So, but you'd play the arc, and the story would unfold and finish at the end of the season, and then, what are we going to do now? Right. And you could see the writers' room throwing themselves about, trying to work out what was going to come next. But with this, the way it resolves itself, and just in the second season, you don't see that much of Rupert. You see him in the end, but you hear about him. Little pink little things are dropped in there. And then finally you see him come still night. And you see that wonderful scene at the funeral. The funeral is one of my favorite episodes. It's extraordinary. And the whole thing with him and his child, but the way the show resolved itself, and the way it examines people's self-questions, and how we become who we are, how we become what we are, and all the things that that have manifested from our childhood, from our teens, from our journey through life, makes us who we are. And there was a moment when I can't remember what episode it was in. I think it might have been 10 or 9, when they're talking about change, and don't worry about it. And then Trent Krim, bless his heart, says, no, you should be prepared to change, embrace change. And you go, oh, phew, because that is what makes us. We have to change. We have to learn and adapt. And it's people who don't, who go into a mindset of like, no, this is who I am. Deal with me. And they make life difficult for themselves and for the rest of us.
Yeah, we're dealing with a lot of that today in the world, unfortunately. Way too much. Well,
yes.
Every day I turn the news on, and every day I'm like, I don't want to get into politics too much, but I say, please, not again. Can we heal at some point, or is it just going to be broken forever? Is it going to be the broken bike that has tape on it holding it together, and we just pretend it's solid.
Well, I look back on my younger days through the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I was not young in the 90s, but thinking, the Cold War, and thinking, oh, wow, life's hard. My God, it was easy.
Yeah. The good old days.
Compared to now. Yes. Yes.
So speaking about not such great people on a show full of beloved people, what is it like, and excuse my language, what is it like being a bastard?
Well, for me, I've played a few of them in my time. I must admit, there was one episode of Buffy when Joss said, "Oh, you're going to play a demon." Oh, I can be a baddie. Giles is going to, and then it turned out to be, I can't remember what he was now, but it's basically it was Giles's midlife crisis that no one understood him, and he was just this. But with Rupert, the fun of playing Rupert is the fact that there are so many levels, and the fact that I love the fact that the way they nuanced him, so that he was started off as this just a and then you see the whole thing with Nate and him being really manipulative, and then the thing with Miss Cakes and bringing other women on board. And I mean, right in the first season, there was lots of pictures of him with women. But then, and Jason told me that, we were going to see a side of him. And with the whole Super League thing on episode 10, and the moment where we see him once in love with Rebecca, and just an emotion which may have been sociopath, that they're very good at turning on their tears, but what I wanted to play was that that moment where you can see in his eyes, you can see some pain, some displacement, and that was actually the undercore of what then happened at the football match in the end, when he can't help himself but storm down on the pitch because he's got all this going on. Playing that it's not just playing an arsehole, it's playing someone who just happens to be an arsehole, but they don't think they are. They think, being a narcissist, that the world revolves around them. They are the center of the world.
Getting into the relationship with Rebecca, it kind of shifts, it changes, and then that moment that you said, and she gives you the Heisman. Essentially, you go in and there's that glow in your eyes of oh wait, remembering what you once had, and then she quickly shuts that down, which I'm sure all the fans were cheering. Sorry, but we didn't want that to happen. Where does he really land on her? What are what he has this kind of animosity, or this I don't know if it's a jealousy, what it is, but there's something going on there. What is that relationship like? And what do you put into that?
Well, I mean, the fact that basically was the heart of the emotion in the last episode was the fact that he felt not rejected, but that he wanted not to be spurned. He wanted to be embraced, even if she embraced him and said, "Oh, it's yeah, it's lovely." But the fact that she was that close, and then whoa, because she's going through the journey she's going through, because if that had happened back at the beginning of season 3, or maybe earlier, but it might have changed. Who knows? She might have gone, oh, okay. But yes, her journey was so perfect that he had to throw in a wobbler.
And you have such great oil and water chemistry with Hannah. What was it like working with her?
Oh, a dream, an absolute dream. I mean, just, I mean, I've been very fortunate in my career to work with some wonderful actors, and she is extraordinary. The first time in season 1, when I meet her in the office and basically say, "No, I didn't want to have a child with you," and the emotion was just threw me sideways, and it was beautiful, and there's always been a connection, great connection, and it's not something that you assume it's going to happen, but you always hope it is, and one is very fortunate when it does, and I'm very lucky to have worked with pretty much everybody in the show. I mean, it's remarkable casting, and the stuff that I've had with Nick has been great fun, especially the scenes in the bar when I'm throwing women at him.
Well, I wanted to touch upon that. I considered you to be like the Emperor in Star Wars, and Nate was your Anakin Skywalker. And I was curious, why were you unsuccessful bringing him to the dark side?
Because of the way one, I didn't have the threat that the Emperor had of his wife dying if he didn't, but also he is on the journey he's on, and feeling so insecure about himself and not self-rewarding because of the way he was brought up, and it just happened to coincide with the moment that he starts to understand, because he's met Jade, understand who he is and what he's about, that come on, let's go on, have a good time, just falls flat and makes him go, wait a minute, no, that's not where I want to go. It's clever writing.
Yeah, it's fun to watch that and see. And I didn't expect it to end like it did. I thought there was going to be a big face off in the finale with with Nate versus Ted, and to see that it's a in a hopeful series. It was a really nice moment to see him reject the temptations of Rupert and be himself. So I'm sorry again. I'm sorry you lost there, but hey, the fans.
Well, I mean, for me, it was to be who he is and do what he does in front of an entire audience. And there's there were shots of Nate and Ted looking as if he's coming for them, and he walks straight past them, and he's just and doesn't think twice about taking it out on his coach, and then suddenly going, "Oh, what have I done? Oh no!" Yeah, it's a good moment. It's perfect, and he's out there hanging.
I was wondering if there was going to be some moment of redemption for him, and it didn't happen on the series. Is there a road for redemption for Rupert? Is there something that could kind of put him on the right path?
Well, it's one of those things. I think probably if everything was taken away from him, if there was a life changer, if there was, I don't know, something that made him think about everything again, and then and embrace change. But that's a big. I mean, that's something which, yeah, you think of those out there. What would make them change? It's a hard one.
It's hard to change your spots, as they say. The cheetah or the leopard, one of the two. So also, I'm wondering, just made me think what you were mentioning earlier. He goes in for that kiss. If Rebecca kisses him there, even if it's only temporary, do you think he has that moment where he does kind of make a shift in who he is, or is it just going to be business as usual?
Oh, no, it wouldn't change him at all. If she kissed him, he would think, yeah, I've got it. I've still got it.
You're right.
Yeah, it would not make him think, oh, maybe I should change Rebecca. No. No.
Yeah, you're so right. It's that, like you're mentioning, people in today's world who are kind of stubborn, that they take the wrong messages from everything, which is another really frustrating thing. You're like, oh wait, she had a moment of compassion, and then he's like, oh wait, that's it, I won. I've pulled the wool over her eyes again. So, as a whole, from the beginning of season 1 to now, how do you think Rupert has evolved?
I mean, we've just seen what was there at the beginning. He hasn't evolved. All that has evolved is our understanding of him, because we've seen on that journey, we've seen the Mr. Hey, it's great to be here, and I'm so glad you're with me, because I'm the thing in the world that's going to change you. And then throughout season 2, very cleverly, not seeing him too much, just having that in Rebecca's ear, until the end, when he just goes, mate, come on. And the whole Darth Vader Emperor thing, I thought was brilliant, because it gave everybody a basic understanding of what that manipulation is about, taking someone under their wing and then giving them a nice car, giving them lots of women. They're coming on board. Oh, he doesn't want to come on board. That's not what I was expecting. And then we learn that that he's up for sexual misconduct, and then he loses it. I mean, basically, we just see a narcissist being discovered and being under something, undermined.
All right, to wrap up, can you give me 3 words to describe Rupert?
Oh, well, from an actor's point of view, he's fun, boring, and interesting.
There you go.
Because he's fun to play. He is a boring asshole, and he's fascinating.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for your work on the series and on Buffy as well. Pleasure to watch you and to see my worlds collide, years later, and say, oh wait, there he is again. And I was just, when I saw you were on the list, I said, oh, fantastic.
Oh, thank you.